today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create an awesome Raspberry Pi OS desktop setup. I'll be going over the installation process, theming, and then some software. So after this video, if you follow all the steps, you will have a really sick, nice desktop. It will look really pretty, and you'll have everything you would want. So for this, we're going to be using Raspberry Pi Imager, and you're going to need Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit at the top right here. We're going to choose our storage device. I'm using a USB stick. You could use a SD card instead, but USBs or SSDs will be a lot faster. Yes, I want to flash it, and type in your password and start flashing. Then boot your Pi up, and we'll get to the rest. Now, for the second part of the video, we're going to be theming our Raspberry Pi OS to make it look a lot cleaner and more beautiful. Like, this desktop just doesn't look that beautiful and elegant in my opinion. So we're going to be fixing that. So to start off, I am actually going to be using the Arc theme. I actually really like it. The dark one I really enjoy. So to install that, and all these commands will be down below in the description, so you can just copy them over if you like. I'm going to go sudo apt install arc-theme, because that's the theme I like the most. Yes, I want to install it, and this one just looks really clean, and I like the dark one because it has like a tint of blue and darkness, so it just looks really cool. And for my cursor, I'm going to be going for the breeze cursor. I do want to mention that all these things you guys can customize in Google and use your own. Of course, these are just the ones I like. So it's breeze cursor -theme. Hit enter. And now it's getting the breeze cursor theme for me. And the icon theme that I actually really like is right here. It's called Tela icon theme. So some of them are circles and some of them are squares, and it just looks really cool. It's not in the repository, so we actually have to download it and run the install script. So I'll leave this in the description if you do want to use it. We're going to go over to releases, and down here we're going to just download the source code as a zip. And we're going to just go over here, open our downloads folder, go over to downloads, go fast, and let that thing finish downloading. It's almost done, and now that it's done, I'm going to right click and extract here. That shouldn't take that long. Just give it a second. After it is done extracting, we're going to open up the folder right here, and you're going to see this install.sh folder. Well, to run that, we're going to open up our tools and open current folder in terminal. That's the thing we were going to want, and we are going to type --install.sh. You're going to hit enter, and you're going to see it says installing Tela. So it's copying all of these icons into the correct folders, so we'll be able to use them on our LXDE Raspberry Pi OS. So it says it's created successfully, so that's what we want to see. Now to go over to change the themes, we can just exit out all these tabs, and we're going to go right here to the Raspberry Pi logo, and we're going to scroll down to Preferences and Main Menu Editor, because we have to enable the theme changing app because it's not enabled by default. It's going to be in Preferences. We're going to scroll down Theme and Appearance Settings, click that tick right there, click OK so that it will be enabled, go back, Preferences, and right now you'll see we have the Theme and Appearance Settings. Click that one. In our widgets, like we installed earlier, we have Arc Dark. We have Arc Dark, we have Arc, which is like a white version, and then we have Arc Darker. I like Arc Dark the most, so I'm going to be using that one. Color, you can change the colors if you like. I'm going to leave it. Icon theme, we can actually use the Tela theme that we installed. So we can actually just click apply, and our app should change to that. You see? They look just really cool and elegant in my opinion. Now, next, mouse cursor. We can change our mouse cursor to the breeze one because that's the one we installed. We also have breeze snow, which is like a white version, and then we have breeze, which is the dark version. I'm going to be going with the darker version. And I do want to mention the cursor is not going to change until you do a full system reboot, which we'll do in a second. And you might notice the window borders look a bit wonky right now. So let's change that to the Arc Dark one. Click Arc Dark, click apply, and now we have a much better window border. Font, I'm not going to change the font, but you could if you like. Other, and that's about it. Now we have everything, all our icons, our themes changed, but something's not good for me. I really want to have a plank, a dock, like on Mac OS, because I am a Mac OS user and I really enjoy having that dock. So to install an awesome dock, I'm just going to go sudo apt install plank, because plank is probably my favorite Linux dock. It looks the best, it's super simple, super easy to use, and it's just awesome. So we'll be going with plank in this tutorial. Alrighty, now for the transparency effects in plank to work correctly, we actually have to install Compton. So sudo apt install Compton, which is going to make that all those things work a lot better in plank, because if you try to turn on transparency mode, it's actually not going to be transparent and it's not going to work correctly. So now we're actually going to have to make these files so that they auto start. I have a little mouse pad right here that has all these commands because I can't remember all of them, and I'll just leave this in the description. So you can actually just copy all of these, and it's going to make sure that plank and Compton auto start every time I boot up my Pi. So it's going to be really useful. I can just paste all these in here and hit enter. And there we go. Now all these apps will auto start right when I start up my Pi. So it's a really relief. I don't have to worry about starting them every time. So I can just close out this document. I don't want to save it. Put this thing in the trash. And I do want to do a quick reboot to make sure my cursor changes, the plank auto starts, and just to make sure that everything is working correctly. So I just do a quick reboot right now, and then we should see and make sure that I did a reboot now, and you see my cursor changed, and automatically I have the dock on the bottom right now. So these things are just automatic things that come in here. We actually don't need it, and just to take it off, you could just drag and drop like that, because I don't want any of these in my dock, to be honest. But to change the theme, you can put your cursor on the bottom of the dock and hold Control, and go to Preferences. And the theme, you can download more themes from the internet if you like, but I am just a huge fan of the transparent one. It looks really sick and you can't see anything, and I'm a fan of putting my dock on the right. Actually, I really like that. I don't know why. And then I like to go over to docklets and put my trash in the dock, like right here. That didn't go in correctly, but I like to have my trash on the dock so I can empty my trash really easily, and that's why I just like having it. So that's about it for my dock. You can look in Google for more themes and stuff like that for your dock, feel free to. I'm going to keep that in my dock right here. So that's basically how you add applications to your dock, by right-clicking and go keep in dock. And your dock can be a lot bigger. You can also change the size of the applications. Right here, icon size. You can make icon zoom, so you have like a really nice icon zoom when you go over your icons. And that's basically what Compton helps do. But I don't really want that because it will make my performance a bit worse on my Raspberry Pi. But that's about it for my theming. Actually, I missed one very important step. I need to have a good wallpaper. So a good wallpaper really makes everything a lot better on your theme. So I'm just gonna real fast. Chromium actually comes with DuckDuckGo as by default, and I really don't like the images that DuckDuckGo give us, so I'm going to change that to Google real fast, and then we'll be on our way. So I'll just search for search engine right here, DuckDuckGo. We can just switch that over to Google. And now, so I like to search simple wallpaper, and I actually get some really nice results, to be honest. I have these ones that I really like. So I'll just go over to images. And I really like these landscape ones, and they look just really clean and awesome. Like I'm a big fan of this one. So if I just click on the link right here, there will most likely be a download button. Yep. So download the resolution, and I can just save image as, save it to my downloads folder, save it, and yeah, I can close out of there. Right click desktop preferences, picture, and I can go over to my Pi. You could change the folder if you like. I want it in my downloads, and choose that image right here, the JPEG. Click open and click OK. So yeah, now here's my desktop, and I actually like to do my taskbar. I go over to my panel settings, and I actually go over to advanced, and minimize panel when not in use. I really like that, so I can have a really nice big desktop. And here we have it. I have my dock on the left, I have my panel when I need it, and my desktop. So this is how I like to theme my desktop on Raspberry Pi OS to make it look incredibly well. And you don't have to do the same thing. You could change it if you like. But yeah, that is how I theme it. Now to get to the third part of our video, to make our desktop and have our applications, because if we don't have applications, a computer really isn't that useful. So I'm going to be going over the basics and then some other advanced ones that I want. So we're going to need our terminal first. I forgot to add that to my dock. Let me add that to my dock real fast. Keep in dock. And I'm going to start out with some simple things. We have to update our system to get the latest releases. So sudo apt update, type that in your system, to make sure that we get all of the latest packages when we're trying to download our applications. Give that a second, and it's going to grab everything from the latest repositories. And yes, after we update our system, we're going to have to upgrade it using sudo apt upgrade. And I have 25 packages to be upgraded, so I'm just going to sudo apt upgrade, hit enter, and when prompted, Y enter. After we have an updated system, I'm going to install basically my 3 essentials, which are gparted, flameshot, and neofetch, because I like to be able to take screenshots and see my disk information and see my system information. So we're going to install that by sudo apt install flameshot, which is probably the best screenshot manager for Linux. Flameshot, neofetch, and then we're going to type gparted. So if we just type it like this, it will install all 3 packages for me. And I'm prompted, yes, I'm going to install that. And one thing, when it asks for Y, you actually don't have to type in Y, just hit enter and it will actually install it. That's one thing that I did not used to know. I would always hit Y, but I learned that you actually don't have to. You just hit enter and it automatically installs it for you. So here, my 3 packages are done installing, and to see it, we can actually go over here, and how was go to graphics. I see Flameshot, which is, and then we actually use it. We click right here, and we can actually just take screenshots like that, and we can upload it to mkdir. We can download it to our system, and you can do everything from it. It's really useful. Neofetch, we can type it in right here, and here we have it. Neofetch is on our system. And then gparted is going to be in system tools. We have gparted. So that command did work. And the next thing that I would probably see as essential on my system would be PyKis and PyApps. So let's go with PyApps first. And one thing to mention, PyApps got a new logo. It looks really nice in my opinion. It's getting way more professional now. So to install PyApps, we just copy this one command and it will do everything for us. Copy and paste it in our terminal right here. Hit enter, and this will grab everything we need. It will grab YAD, it will grab all the stuff that PyApps uses on our system. So just let that go. Now PyApps is done installing. We'll take a look at that in 1 minute, but before that, I'm actually going to use PyKis. PyKis and PyApps are basically the 2 best app software centers for Raspberry Pi OS, in my opinion. They have so many apps and work so well. So the installation, where is it? It's right here, installation. We're going to copy this curl command. And right here, just copy, paste it in our terminal right here. Hit enter, and this will grab PyKis for us. I can minimize that, and PyKis doesn't take that long to install, so we'll get going after that. So it's grabbing everything from PyKis, and now we have PyKis installed. So it tells us where it is. It's in System Tools. So we can go check that out real fast. If I go over to System Tools, we have PyKis. Let's open it up. And from here, basically, the games are really cool. There's so many games, and he adds them all the time. Like recently, he just added GTA Vice City. So if I go to GTA, we have GTA 3 and GTA Vice City. So I would recommend checking both of these out. I do want to mention you do have to own the games, but it is useful to have an install script to get them running on your Raspberry Pi. But definitely go through this app store. There's tons of apps, and there's a lot of useful things. So we can actually just close out of PyKis right now. But there's a few more apps that I need that are located in PyApps. Accessories, and we have PyApps right here. So scroll down to PyApps. And right here, the ones that I'm going to need are, it would probably be an eye candy. So the main ones that I'm going to want are Lightpad. So Lightpad is an application manager that I can put on my dock. It's like macOS, so I can see all of my apps, and it's just going to make things super easy to have on my, to open up my applications really quick from my dock. So I can close the terminal now. And Lightpad should be located up here. If I go to accessories, you see that I now have Lightpad right here. But how do I get it to my dock? Well, if you ask that, we actually have to go out of Lightpad real fast, and we're going to go over here. We're going to go to File System Root, and we're going to go to User, USR. We're going to go to Share, User Share, and we're going to go to Applications, but we need to let this thing load. For some reason, it's not. In the user folder, I'm going to go over here to Applications, and right here I have Lightpad. Well, I'm actually just going to drag and drop this onto my dock right there, and I'll have it on my dock. So let's say I want to launch it. Let's just close right out of here. No. And right here, I can click on Lightpad, and it opens up Lightpad. So I have all my apps here. I can see them really easily, and I can search them. So it's a super useful tool to have, and it works super well. So I'm just glad to have it on my dock, and it reminds me of macOS too. So if we open up PyKiss one more time, execute in terminal, I'm going to install a few more apps that are located in here. Back in iCandy. So uLauncher is another one that I really enjoy. It's kind of like Spotlight Search in macOS, and you can search your apps, and it makes opening apps so much easier. And yeah, so we'll just have uLauncher also install, and that will make your desktop experience a lot better too. uLauncher is now done installing. I can actually just close back this terminal. And yeah, so to test out uLauncher, we can go over here to Accessories, and it should be down here, uLauncher. Give it a second, and it should launch up right here. So we can actually click on it. We can go over to Preferences, and we'll have a really nice menu open up right here. And we can edit a few commands right here. So give it a second to load up. And launch at login, I do want that, so we'll auto start. And it says hotkeys control space. There are different themes you can try out if you like. I'll just leave it for default, but let's say we want to launch it right now. Let's go control space, and here's my application launcher. So if I was to say terminal, I type in terminal and it launches it for me. So it's a super easy way of opening applications really fast and quickly. So then that's about it from this part of my PyApps. Next, I like to have Discord, which you can install yourself, and then VS Code I also like to have on my system. You can install it from the terminal. Next, I want to have Box86 and Wine. Box86 allows me to emulate x86 Linux apps, and with Wine I can run Windows apps. So those are in Tools, and it's super easy to install now that PyApps has it. It used to be a lot harder, but now all you have to do is click install. So Box86, and it's not even compiling it. It just grabs the compiled version from the web and it puts it in your folder, so it's super fast, like incredibly fast. Box86 is now done. So now let's go with Wine, because Wine is another application that I kind of have to have because it just makes stuff a lot better. So we're going to have to, oh, it's already open right here. So we can scroll down to the W's, Wine x86. I'm going to click install. So now it's going to grab Wine from the web and install it using Box86. Now Wine is done installing, so now I have Wine plus Box86 on my system. And this is all the applications I'm going to be installing from PyApps right now. But I do want to mention PyApps is full of an awesome amount of apps, so I totally recommend you going through these things and seeing what you like and what you don't like. But that's all I'm going to show from PyApps in this video. Next, one thing I did forget to install was Raspberry Pi Imager. So sudo apt install RPI Imager. That's to be able to flash my images and update my system, format SD cards, everything like that. It's a super useful tool. If you haven't seen my video on the new update, Raspberry Pi version 1.6, please watch that video. It's super cool. And just let the app install, and then we'll have just a few things left. Yeah, so now let's look for Raspberry Pi Imager. So we can Imager right here, launch it, and we can see it is version 1.6. So if I do go Control Shift X, you will see that I have the advanced options. So it's pretty cool. So I got off topic right there. But next, I want to be able to watch Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, all that type of stuff from my Raspberry Pi. So thanks to this new official way of watching Widevine content on a Raspberry Pi, we can just copy these few commands and we can have it there. So we already did system updates, so we don't need to copy the first two commands, but all we need to copy is the last one. So right here, we're just going to copy this last command right here and copy, open back a terminal, and we're going to paste that command in our terminal, and then we're going to have to restart Chromium, and then we will have Widevine working in our Chromium. You don't have to open up a different browser or anything like that. It works from the default Chromium browser. So it's really cool because before you'd have to have two different Chromium browsers and people would get confused like which one am I supposed to use. Well, you just use this one. Yeah, so I finished installing that. If I restart Chromium and I restart my system, Widevine content would now work. So it's really, this stuff isn't that hard to install and it works so well. Like box 86, if I type that in, I have box 86 in my system now. If I type wine CFG, you can see that the wine config app is going to open up for me. So, it's not that hard to do to make your desktop look really pretty and have a ton of applications, and there's tons more in PiApps and PiKis. So I hope this guide was helpful for you guys. If you have any other recommendations for me to do, just let me know down below in the comments and tell me what you thought about this kind of guide and if it was helpful for you guys. So please hit that like button, and thanks for watching.